What is going on, you beautiful humans? Hey, I just wanted to share with you that my college diet was about 60% rice and beans, 30% ramen, and 10% wondering if I could stretch at $3 until the end of the week when it was only Monday. And if you're in college right now or about to head off, or you're a parent with a student heading off, and you're thinking, how in the world can I budget when I barely have a budget? Or is it even worth saving or investing when I am broke? This video is going to be for you because we're going to be diving into budgeting on the meager leftovers, how to still save and even invest a little bit, because you know what? Those small steps are still forward momentum. And if you think that you're going to all of a sudden know how to budget when you graduate college, let this be an introductory course from the School of Hard Knocks, because we are building those habits now. So let's go ahead and level up. Now, here's the thing, friends. Budgeting isn't just for people with six-figure jobs and spreadsheets. It is for people with $60, a part-time job, or a little extra that you may get from your family. Now, step one is knowing exactly what is coming in, and that could be a weekly or monthly allocation from your family, a part-time job, a side hustle, or your summer job. And of course, there is that occasional birthday money from grandma, and we see you, Nana. And you might be tempted to use leftover money from financial aid, but hey, let me offer some perspective here. I went to school on Pell Grants and other need-based money that I didn't have to pay back, but I still had to take out quite a few loans. So you have to assess your own situation, because the thing is those loans, many of those loans are accruing interest while you're in school. So you might think that the interest rate is low, but when they are stacking on top of each other, there's compounding interest. And by the time that you graduate and you think, oh, this will be no problem, until you get that first bill and you're like, what was I thinking? So just be mindful of your own situation. Now, step two is track your spending. Every single dollar. You can use free apps like Good Budget, You Need a Budget, or honestly, like you can use your Notes app and a calculator or Google Sheets. Now, step three is prioritizing with the minimalist 50-30-20 rule, but I would recommend for you a 60-30-10 rule, because if your wallet is in critical condition, that might be more appropriate. So what this is 60% are your needs. That is food, your rent, and any other school-related expenses that aren't covered through financial aid. Then there are the wants. Yes, you can have some wants, 30%. Streaming services, and if you ended up getting booted off your Netflix account from your family or Spotify, and of course the obvious nights out to blow off some steam and decompress. Just be careful out there, my friends. And then there is still 10% with savings. And yes, if you got $5 left over, that counts. You don't have to live miserably just because you're living on a shoestring, but it will take a little planning, with the occasional flying by the seat of your pants and keeping your head on a swivel for those opportunities. You know, when your roommate's family might be visiting from out of town and you by chance luck out by getting invited to that family dinner out. And that is, so many times I was so appreciative, and I still tell these families that today, like how much I appreciated it. Now, one tip here is that meal prep does sound as boring as that intro to algebra class, but this will provide a much bigger return of your time and your money. You could even split those Costco runs with roommates, maybe even try to like go in on a Costco membership to split the membership fee. You could also hit those campus events for free food. There's often some kind of gathering or networking event where you can find some food. Yes, you get to meet some people. So even the introverts get to get yourself out there, but you will also get your belly filled as well. So it is a win-win. And then there are those subscriptions that you might think about downgrading. So if you did get kicked off of those family subscriptions, you're going to have to take another look as to whether you need all of those streaming services. Also, look at discounted services for students, as you can save a few bucks on those deals. And I know that Caleb Hammer, he says that you can actually deal with the free with ads Spotify, but I do know how annoying those can be if you use it all the time. So if you need to figure out a way, try to find a way. I totally understand, but hey, maybe take a break from the algorithm and what is recommended to you and grab like an old iPod or an inexpensive like turntable that you can find at a thrift store and pick up a few vinyls. Then of course there is the app delivery, which is a budget drain. So the quick reality check here is that those late night cravings that lead to DoorDash or Uber Eats, guess what? That $12 burrito turns into $23 real fast when you add the fees, the tip, and that sweet convenience tax. And I'm not saying never do it, but try to save it for like group orders. And most of the time, you could just get up off your duff, walk a few blocks, ride your skateboard, whatever it is, spend less and get a little cardio while you're at it. Your wallet and your body is gonna thank you. And here is a bonus tip: digital coupons. It is the new way to clip. And this is an underrated move that you may have made fun of at one point, but you got to download those grocery store apps. Most students are not clipping coupons anymore. We're not getting the newspaper and going through the sales. but almost every big grocery chain has an app with digital coupons that you can just tap and save. Whether it's Safeway, Kroger, your local spot, whatever it is, Target, use the app, get those discounts and save a few bucks every week. There's no scissors, there's no shame, and it's just really savings. But just make sure that you are not purchasing some obscure item. Like, just because that Icelandic gooseberry yogurt is on sale does not mean it belongs in your broke college student budget. Stick to the basics. Now, some of you are balancing classes and a part-time job. Some of you had a summer job where you were able to stockpile some cash, and others are stretching maybe $50, $100 a week from your family. And I know not everyone has that situation. I didn't. I totally get it. But either way, you're managing money, so treat it like a real paycheck. So do this. So schedule your payday and decide what gets spent, what gets saved, and then what gets set aside. Use 2 counts if at all possible. That is one for spending and one for saving. And if you work, find those flexible jobs like tutoring, campus desk work, even a side hustle. I did a video on that one, and I will follow up with another one more specific to your needs, but I will say that there are some in that video that I think are very appropriate for what you could possibly do. But hey, I waited tables in this local spot, and I worked when I didn't have early classes the next day. I made some really good money and also met some really awesome people that I'm actually still friends with today. Now, there is an optional thing here, so just bring it in a little bit when we talk about building trust with your family. So if you're getting some help from your family right now, here is something that you might not have thought about. So if they see that you're actually budgeting, you're tracking your money, and maybe even saving a little bit, that will build more trust. You're showing them that you're serious and not just winging it, even when you feel like you're actually winging it all the time. And when the time comes that you need a little extra help, like covering some unforeseen expense, which could be just about anything in college, they might be more willing to give you that boost. And they may routinely send you a little extra something because in the end, they are making an investment in your future. And hey, if they don't see it that way, you just tell them to comment below and we can have a parent-to-parent chat about continuing to build these habits that set you up for success. Now, let's say that your roommate spills Red Bull on your laptop and it dies mid-semester, or like the keyboard is all sticky or whatever, and what do? Enter the mini emergency fund. First off, try to just start with like $100 just to begin with. And I know that laptop fixes can be more, but this is just about building that habit. Hopefully you have some insurance on that laptop. But setting up automatic transfers like $5 or $10 a week will make a difference. Put it in a high yield savings account. It's boring, it is not flashy, but it works. This is your safety net when life punches you in the mouth, and just get used to it because you have got to learn to get back up after the punch. And then there is this glorious avenue of getting your first credit card, which feels like financial freedom until it is not. So the smart move here is getting a student credit card with no annual fee. Use it for one recurring charge, like Spotify, for example, and then you pay it off every month. And make sure you're keeping your credit utilization low. And what that means is if your credit limit is $500, do not run that limit all the way up to $500. Keep it low. You're building credit now to avoid regret later. And of course, what not to do is don't use it for concert tickets, pizza runs, or spring break. Understand that the minimum payment is also just the minimum to keep you in good terms with that credit card company. Anything left over that you don't pay by the due date, that will accrue interest. Don't just pay the minimum because interest rates are vicious. And then of course, you can invest. Micro investing, and I get it, but how do I invest when I'm eating mayonnaise sandwiches? And yes, that is a real thing. It is just mayonnaise and bread. But here's the thing, start small. Your options can be Acorns or Stash, those roundups and $5 buys, like just pennies that are rounded up so that you can start saving and investing. And here's the thing, Fidelity or Schwab, those two platforms are really great, especially when you're broke, because you can purchase fractional shares of index funds. So these are platforms that allow you to buy small pieces of a stock. So for example, Apple is trading at around $200 a share, and you're like, there is no way I can buy one share of that right now. What you can do is put in a buy order, not for the number of shares, but for the amount that you want to buy. And eventually, as you continue to buy smaller fractional pieces of that stock, one day, you will own one share of Apple, but just keep it going. And then of course, there is the Roth IRA, and you're like, I'm not even thinking about retirement, I'm just getting started. You need to be thinking about it. So if you have earned income, start with like $50 a month. maybe even $25 a month. This money is going to be growing quietly and will be a tax-free withdrawal at retirement. And you're making investments in it, which I have talked about this, and you can check out that video. And you might say, well, why bother? Because honestly, folks, the best time to invest was yesterday. The second best time is right after this video. Because what you're doing here is you're building habits that are supposed to last. You're automating your savings and investments. And if you get direct deposit from your employer, you can set up other accounts to deposit into. My personal paycheck actually goes to 4 different places. You can also set up automatic withdrawals through your bank account. Check in and review your budget weekly. This is something that should be regular, and it shouldn't be a punishment. And here's a big one for you. Celebrate the small wins. Like, hey, I saved $50. That is forward momentum. And all of this stuff doesn't change your money. It changes how you see money. You're building habits that won't go away after finals. And hey, if this helped, I would love to hear from you. So comment below. What is your biggest money struggle right now? Besides, of course, the obvious that you're broken in college. And hey, hit the subscribe button to join this community because you have just taken your first step to building wealth. I am so grateful for you. I appreciate you. And hey, I will catch you right back here on your next level up. Oh, and hey, if you get one of these older iPods, just make sure that they have the cable because this is a 30-pin connector. This isn't like Lightning or even USB-C. So just as a heads up.